Hello, and welcome back to Wild Sanative. This is the Path of Wholeness, a journey of healing, awareness, nature, emotional truth, and returning to the self. In the last video, I spoke about learning to listen within. I shared how during the height of my grief after my son Danny passed away, I would go to the park, sit beneath the tree, bring water, feed the squirrels, and write my thoughts and prayers in my journal. That was one of the ways I began to release what I could not hold inside anymore. But today I want to speak about another part of grief, a part that is not always easy to admit, a part that many people do not know how to witness, and that is rage. After my son passed away because of the way he passed away and why he passed away, something in me broke open. It was not just sadness. It was not only grief, it was unbridled rage. That kind of rage that rises when a mother loses her child and knows how cruelty played a part in his suffering. I wanted justice, I wanted truth, I wanted the letter he wrote about his experience to be heard. I wanted people to understand what happened to him mattered, that his pain mattered, that his voice mattered, that bullying is not small, that cruelty is not harmless, that words, rejection, humiliation, gossip, intimidation, and emotional violence can enter a person so deeply that they begin to believe the terrible things that others project onto them. During that time, I was in a very dark place. I would move back and forth between rage and deep depression. One moment I wanted to fight, the next I didn't want to be here anymore. I remember feeling like I was trying to will myself to death. I told myself that if I got sick, I would tell no one. I would do nothing about it. That is how far away from life I felt. That is how deeply pain had swallowed me. And I have come to understand that dying from a broken heart is real. I have seen it. Our emotions affect our bodies. Grief not only lives in our minds, it lives in our chest, the stomach, the nervous system, the breath, the bones, the will to keep going. And I believe Danny saw what was happening to me from where he was, because one night he came to me in a dream. In the dream, I was with his father. We were at a park walking down a set of stairs, and we saw a couple with the baby carriage. We offered to help bring them the carriage up the stairs. But suddenly in the dream, they turned into vampires. I screamed to his father, "We need to get out of here." Then to my left, I saw another staircase, and it was going up. At the top of the staircase, there was light. I knew we had to go that way. I began moving toward the stairs. I saw my son Danny standing in the corner crying. He looked deceased. He said, "Mom, don't let the darkness get you and Dad." When I saw him, every part of me wanted to grab him and take him with us. I reached for him. I grabbed him by his shirt and said, "Danny, we need to go now. We need to get out of here." And he began crying. And then he said, "It's too late for me, Mom." And I began wailing in pain, the kind of pain that only a mother could understand. But something in the dream pushed me toward the stairs, toward the light. I told his father to follow me, and then I woke up. When I woke up, something in me shifted. I understood that darkness I was living in, the anger, the hopelessness, the hatred, the despair was pulling me in the wrong direction. And I also understood that my son did not want me to go there. He did not want that for me. Danny was a beautiful, kind soul. He would have not wanted my pain to destroy me. He would not have wanted my love for him to become swallowed by hate. He would not have wanted the cruelty of others to take me too. That dream helped me remember my heart. It helped me see that my love for my son was stronger than the rage I felt, stronger than the hatred, stronger than the anger I felt toward the bullies, stronger than the anger I felt toward the adults who should have known better, stronger than the hopelessness that had been trying to pull me under. So I sat up and I made a different choice. Not an easy choice, not a perfect choice, but a sacred one. I chose to place my focus on the love I had for my son. I chose to honor the beauty of who he was. I chose to remember that he deserved love, respect, dignity, and truth. And so does every human being. That was the moment something began to change. The anger did not vanish overnight, but it began to find a new direction. It became advocacy. It became a voice. It began to become a calling. And through synchronicities, through small openings, through moments I could not have planned, a new path began to unfold in my life. A path where my pain would not only be pain, a path where my love for Danny could become something that helped others. A path where his life, his heart, and his truth would not be forgotten. Before my healing journey truly began, I was raised to defend myself no matter what. I was taught survival of the fittest. I was taught that if someone came at you, you fought back. Whatever form that took, the message was clear. Do not let anyone overpower you. Do not let anyone disrespect you. Do not let anyone make you weak. And for a long time, that shaped me. I was a fighter. I did not tolerate sarcasm. I did not tolerate bullying. I did not tolerate intimidation in any form. I had been taught to meet force with force, to stand my ground, to push back, to never let anyone think they could hurt me without consequence. I had a big heart, but if you broke it, in my mind, you were done. If you intentionally caused me pain, if you came at me with harm, then you were going to meet my wrath in one form or another. That was how I learned to survive. That was how I learned to protect myself. But through Danny, both while he was here and after he passed, I began to understand how wrong that way was. He taught me that fighting was not the answer. He taught me there was another way, trying to talk things out through when possible, walking away when respect is not present, choosing not to engage with people who are committed to cruelty, control, or harm, not because you're weak, but because you refuse to become a part of the same energy that wounded you. And later, when my journey led me to my spiritual teacher, Blanca Bayer, her teachings helped me begin healing parts of my soul that had lived in survival for so long. That guidance helped me see that strength was not only in defense. Strength could also be in restraint and compassion and forgiveness, and choosing not to let pain turn me into something I was never meant to be. And forgiveness was something Danny practiced in his own life. He had a tenderness in him, a wisdom. There were moments when I could listen to him speak and my heart would just melt, because I knew behind those eyes was an old soul. A soul that understood things many people could never take the time to learn. Danny was my son, but he was also my teacher. He still is. He is my teacher of my heart. My connection with him was deep and it remains deep. Death did not erase that bond. It changed how I experienced it, but it did not take it away. Danny is my anchor. My love for him was far more powerful than dark emotions that swirled inside of me after he died. And as I began to see that more clearly, my lens opened wider. I began to see that bullying does not only look one way. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's blatant, sometimes it is loud, cruel, and direct. But sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it's covert. Sometimes it hides behind sarcasm, judgment, exclusion, gossip, control, intimidation, or the need to make someone else feel small. And as painful as it was to look at, I began to see places within myself that needed to change too, because this was not only about the people who hurt my son, it was also about the behaviors humanity keeps repeating. The ways we wound one another, the ways we pass pain forward, the ways we justify cruelty just because we are hurt, insecure, angry, afraid, or unhealed. I began to see that this was not only a personal problem, it was a humanity problem. Bullying exists everywhere, in families, friendships, schools, workplaces, online, communities, systems of power, in education, in governing structures. Anywhere people use shame, fear, exclusion, cruelty, gossip, intimidation, or power to make another person feel small. And every time we do that, we create more division. We create more pain, more disconnection, and that is not love. Not in any way, shape, or form. Bullies are often hurt people who hurt other people, but understanding that does not excuse the harm. It shows us how urgent healing is needed. It shows us how deeply we need emotional awareness. It shows us how much we need to teach compassion, accountability, dignity, and respect. It shows us that pain we refuse to heal does not stay inside of us. It spills out, it becomes behavior, it becomes cruelty, it becomes division, it becomes harm. And when I began to see this more clearly, I knew I had to learn. I had to correct this ignorance I had lived in my own life, not because I was a bad person and not because I was an unhealed person, and an unhealed people can cause harm even when they have love inside of them. The truth humbled me. It changed me. It made me want to become more conscious of my words, my reactions, my anger, my judgments, and the energy I bring to the world. And little by little, that inner work became advocacy. Not advocacy rooted only in rage, but advocacy rooted in awareness, in accountability, in love, and the desire to illuminate a truth that humanity needs to learn. The way we treat one another matters. The way we speak matters. The way we judge matters. The way we dismiss someone else's pain matters. The way adults respond to children in pain matters. The way we excuse bullying matters. The way we stay silent matters. The way we use our own wounds as permission to wound others matters. And this is where the Path of Wholeness asks us to look deeper. Because wholeness is not only about embracing the beautiful parts of ourselves, it's also about facing the shadow, the parts we hide, the parts we justify, the parts we are afraid to look at, the parts of us that react from pain and instead of love, the parts of us that learn survival before softness, the parts of us that confuse fighting with strength, the parts of us that still need healing. Recently, something happened that felt deeply meaningful to me. A picture suddenly popped up on my phone of Danny standing beside a walrus, almost as if he was embracing it. The photo just appeared in front of me, and I felt compelled to use it. It felt like my son was teaching me once again. I chose that photo because it speaks so powerfully to the part of this journey. In the image, Danny is standing beside something huge, strange, and powerful. And to me, that is exactly what the shadow can feel like at first. It can feel intimidating, unfamiliar, like something we do not understand and may not want to face. But what moved me so deeply is in that photo, Danny was not running from it. He was standing next to it, touching it, embracing it. To me, that represents the path of wholeness. It is the moment we begin to meet the deeper hidden parts of ourselves with curiosity instead of fear. It is the moment we stop running from the shadow and begin to understand that it is also part of our wholeness. What once looked strange, overwhelming, even frightening may actually be a guardian leading us back to ourselves. And that is what the path has taught me. Healing is not only about embracing the light within us, it is also about gently facing what has been hidden, wounded, rejected, or misunderstood. Because when we do, we begin to reclaim more than who we truly are. And sometimes the very thing we feared most becomes part of the wisdom that brings us home. For a long time, my rage felt like fire with nowhere to go. But slowly I began to understand that beneath the rage was love. Love for my son, love for his life he should have been able to live. Love for every child who feels unseen, targeted, humiliated, or alone. Love for every person who has been made to feel like they are less than who they truly are, and that love begins to ask something of me. It asked me not to let the pain turn me into the very thing that caused harm. It asked me to speak, it asked me to heal, to tell the truth, to create awareness, to become a voice of compassion where cruelty had once been louder. If I'm going to be Danny's voice, then I wanted that voice to carry what he lived. Kindness, forgiveness, truth, respect, and the reminder that every human being deserves to be treated with dignity. I do not want his memory to serve more hate, more division, more cruelty. I wanted to serve awareness, healing, accountability, and love strong enough to change the way we treat each other. That is what Danny continues to teach me, that love is not passive, love is not weak, love does not ignore harm. But love also does not become the same darkness it is trying to heal. Love tells the truth, love protects, love creates boundaries, love walks away when it must, love forgives when the heart is ready, love speaks for those who cannot speak, and love becomes a light that says, we can do better than this, we must do better than this. And on the path to wholeness, we are invited to become more conscious human beings, not perfect, but honest, accountable, compassionate, willing to look within, willing to heal what we carry, willing to stop the cycle of hurt people hurting other people. Because every soul deserves to feel safe enough to be here. Every child deserves to know they are worthy. Every person deserves to be seen beyond the projections of others. And every one of us has a responsibility to choose whether we will add more cruelty to the world or become part of its healing. Thank you for walking this path with me. Welcome back to Wild Sanative. Welcome back to the Path of Wholeness. And welcome back to yourself. Healing is not pretending the darkness was never there. It is choosing not to let the darkness have the final word. Sometimes the path home begins when love becomes stronger than rage.